welcome back, everyone. It's with a mix of emotions that I come to you today after having so much fun interviewing Ali Mona on a three-part series, guys. Today marks that culmination. We've laughed, we've learned, and we've grown together. In this final episode, we're wrapping up with the best takeaways, so make sure to stay until the end. If you didn't catch the first two, guys, go ahead and check out the description. I will link both videos on there. Let's go ahead and dive one last time into leadership development. But before we do, guys, I just want to thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, guys. And I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.
That was, I get to not die. I love it.
I mean,
That was my.
that's
that
what
was
it
mine
feels
too.
like when we're operating our weaknesses. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to get to work because it's miserable. Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I go back to it. I'm like, this is how my curiosity fuels me for success. I take that and I understand it every day. I lead with that, right? And this is where the soaring program will go into intention. What's your intention? Not 10-year intention. What's your daily intention, right? If I'm in an opportunistic season, that means I want to explore. That means I want my mind for the next 90 days to just be open to anything. So with that intention, that might be, hey, you know what? Man, I saw Allie's profile and it looked pretty cool. Man, she'd be an interesting person to talk to. Let me reach out.
Right.
It can be just that simple.
So if you guys, if you're listening and you're like, but I don't know my strength, here's how I found mine.
Oh, okay.
It was the thing that people got angry with me the most about. So in my work, it was Allie starts things, but she doesn't finish things. Well, activators get you into action, gets you moving, and then I'm on to the next thing. Don't give me a year-long project. I won't finish it.
Yeah.
I'm not steady Betty over here doing the same thing every day. You want to put me on a daily routine, I will die. I'll just give up. So instead, I had to rewire all those years of people saying Allie doesn't finish things to go, Allie starts things really well.
Yeah.
Allie initiates, Allie activates. So guess what I have to do? Hire people to finish things.
Yeah.
Because it kills me to do it.
Yeah.
Guess who's a really good finisher? My husband.
Yeah.
Guess who's
nice.
Guess who's not a great activator? My husband. There is strength and weakness. And so I'm sure you could think about a couple ways that your curiosity bites you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
You know, people who are learners, right? They might go down this rabbit hole and not start anything for the sake of the learning process. Whereas I only learn out of utility. If I don't need the information, it does not take up brain space in my head because it's limited.
And
it's limited up there.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, because I mean, we all have, my strength has definitely taken me down wrong paths. And, just a curiosity portion alone, right, is just, I'm naturally good at it, but sometimes it can lead to that analysis paralysis where I'm just so deep into something that I'm just like, I want to know more. I want to know more. I want to know more. And then
that's when you call me.
Your point, just to your point, it's like I have that short span of like, oh, this is really interesting. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is great. Okay, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, that might have been a 90-day span. That might have been a 6-month span for me, right? But I learned as much as I could, as much as I wanted to, as much as my curiosity was intrigued. But there's always, and I'd say it all the time, I got shiny object syndrome because something else comes along and I'm like, oh, look at
squirrel.
And and I'm just like, oh, let me go learn about that. And it's funny. My wife always tells me, she'll ask me the randomest questions. And she'll be like, they'll be watching a show or something, or my stepdaughter and them are watching something, and they'll be like, babe, what was that like back in like, these people, that thing that they're wearing right there in like the 1990 something. And I'm like, why are you asking shit? You know everything. I'm like, nah, I don't really know everything. Like,
let me look it up.
I'm like, you look at me like a human encyclopedia over here. Like, but she's like, no, because you're always learning about all these different things. But I look at it, it's a strength of mine, but it can definitely be a weakness. It can, well, I wouldn't say a weakness, but it can definitely lead me down the wrong path.
It bites
Right.
me.
And
That's
that's
what
where,
I say. It bites me.
yeah.
I'm like, so
And
I'll give you an example. Last week, activated. I worked about 65 hours last week because I was building a project. This week, I've been in bed half the week. I got nothing.
oh wow,
Right?
okay.
So I have to, one of my things is I'm working with my coach. I only allow myself to work 5 hours a day. Because in this season,
Okay.
I'm going for longevity rather than
Yes.
activation.
I love it.
Because
Okay. That makes
I
sense.
burned out last week and I got
Yeah.
sick. I got like a couple of the kids are sick, and it's like we got a big birthday party coming up this weekend. I'm like sleeping in, and I've done this much work this week because I overdid it last week. My activator bit me. It bit me.
Yeah, and I completely understand that. I went into I shared this video before on my YouTube, but I went through two resiliency seasons that I identified at the beginning of the year. So there were two back-to-back resiliency seasons, which were 6 months worth of time of resiliency. And resiliency season for me and through the program, it's when you identify that you got the next 90 days where you have a lot of work that you need to do, right? And for me, it was my work and my business launching. I was launching a new website. I was starting little things, right? So I saw there was a lot of little tasks that I just had to get done to make that progress. So I identified it. It really helped having a resiliency mindset where it's just, you know what season you're in, get the hell up, get it done, right?
Yeah.
But at 6 months, dude, I was burnt out. I was burnt out. And I remember the video. I shared like a short little video where I was at the park and I was just like, guys, I'm going into an attitude season. Like I finally told her, like, I'm going into an attitude season, and this is why. Like I burnt out.
Yeah.
Towards the end of those 6 months, I was even questioning myself where the resiliency mindset wasn't even working anymore. Like it was just like, do I really need to change? Do I really need to check the spelling on that paragraph? Do I really need to, so you start questioning little things like that. And I'm like, you know what? Like I have to change and I got to get back to my why. And that's why I went into an attitude season. So, and I would love to ask you, I did have a final question. And I love asking this question. And it kind of leads to this, right? Because when I went into my why, I had to remember kind of obviously why I'm doing it, what the goals are, what's that vision of the 5-year vision look like and stuff, right? And I think it changes from a passion and purpose standpoint, right? Depending on the season you're in. So I would love to ask, like, what do you see your season in right now? Is it a passionate or purposeful kind of season?
How do you define those, John? What's your definition of passion and purpose?
So I look at it in a sense of if I'm in a passionate season, that's like, to me, I can't wait to wake up. I can't wait to wake up. I don't even want to go to sleep because I want to keep going. But I know, so you have to kind of balance that out. It can be an exhausting season because I've been there. That was my resiliency season. The first 90 days was all passion, because I was just like, man, I can't wait. I'm going to launch my website. I'm going to, do this, do that. The next 90 days were purposeful because that fire was already extinguishing. It was like, man, dude, I'm getting tired. I'm starting to question myself, but I have a purpose. I need to get this done to get it out to people. I was working on a book, right? I have a workbook that I use for my program. And I'm like, this workbook is going to help my clients, anybody that's willing, right, to look at this. I have a PDF that I created for how to plan your next season. I was creating that, and plus like networking, marketing, building the website and stuff like that. So I went from very passionate of like, man, I can't wait to wake up to work on this, to, okay, I need to be purposeful about my actions. Almost kind of like what you're in right now, where that purposeful season wasn't, oh, I can't, working on everything all at once. It was more like, man, let me just get these 3 things done today. Just these 3 things.
For longevity. That's a really good question. I've never experienced this framework before. I think as a default, I operate out of passion or I don't operate.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
So My 5 hours a day, 3 to 5 hours a day is training a purpose season. It's training my ability to go, no, you're going to get up to work, even though you don't feel like it.
Mhm.
So I would say even last week, as I was killing it, 65, 70, I don't even know how many hours, I don't track. Thank God. That
Yeah.
was all passion. But this week, I'm in purpose. So I don't even think it's a season for me. It could be a day. This
A
could
day.
shift
Nice.
day by day by day of how bad I feel like I want to work today. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for moms, I think for women, it's cyclical, of course. There's things going on with
Mhm.
the kids. Nothing is ever a straight line. I'm sitting here
Yeah.
thinking, oh gosh, did I thaw the meat for dinner? Oh shoot. Then I'm like counting hours
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, listen to John, focus. It's like, and I'm not
Yeah.
ADHD. There's no numbers attached to it's
Yeah.
just the brain of
Yes.
somebody who is mom or dad, husband or wife, entrepreneur, business owner, care of the house, like all these things, all these roles
Yeah.
that we play. For me, passion and purpose, I wish I had a whole season of one of them. But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to cultivate is that purpose season, I would say. Passion's
Got
easy. If I wake up and I
Gotcha.
want to work, oh my gosh, you can't stop me. I'll look up at 6 and be like, oh, I haven't eaten, nor have I cooked. Passion's not
Yeah.
hard. It's purpose for me that's hard. And so in an attempt, as I'm forcing my kids to do hard things, I'm always looking for the next hard thing that I can conquer. That's
Got you.
why I just bought into a 15-month coaching program. So I need to last 15 months. I can't do that on passion.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. No, and that makes perfect sense. It makes
You
perfect
can't.
sense. I I think for me, it's more like I said, with that first 90 days of just
Mm,
passionate, right? And I think a big part of that for me, and I know where it stems from, is my strength, that curiosity. Because now I'm doing something new. I'm learning about website design. I'm learning
right.
about, different colors mean different things, and it attracts certain people and different fonts. And you make this bigger and this smaller to attract attention to this bold text. And so all those little things are just so like riveting to me about
Yes.
learning it because of my curiosity, that it puts me in that passionate,
Yeah.
like just driven, season of mine. And then once I was like, okay, I already learned all this. Now I got to keep doing these little tasks to keep getting everything done. And I got to go back and edit and do, that didn't look too, you know, I'm sure my wife got annoyed at my stepdaughter because I kept showing them like, hey, how does this look? How does this look? Hey, look at this logo.
Right.
How does this logo look? Like, they're like,
Right.
I don't like the color. Oh, okay, I'll go back. So that's when I went to that
Yeah.
purpose of like, okay, now I got to get it done, which it's interesting you bring that up. And you know what? I just lied to you, Allie. I'm going to ask you one more question because of what you just
Oh,
said.
do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
So, 15-month program,
Yeah.
what is more important to you, process or the goal? Right. And I love asking this question to everybody. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I am a very goal centric person. Right. So to me, and you can take it for what it is, to me, it's like I don't care about the process if I don't hit the goal.
Yeah. So I used to be driven like that.
Mm-hmm.
And being an activator, it was
Yeah.
easy because I could hit my goal. However, I'd be out cold for days.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an autoimmune disease. I can't work like that. Right. This program is all about the process. So,
Nice.
yes, you want to hit your goals. I mean, it's very goal driven, but the focus for our coaches, like the dream team coaches that coach us, is the process. Not
Mhm.
did it succeed or did it fail? It's what worked and what didn't work,
Yes.
to keep you continuously curious about tweaking. It's an online marketing course. So it's ads and
Okay.
it's organic stuff. And so she can't tell me what to do because it's my audience and my product, but it's what's working and what's not. And how do you know that? Here are the metrics. Let's look at the metrics of it.
Yeah.
And okay, so that metric's a little off. what are the levers we can pull to better that metric? So it's super analytical, which is really fueling to my brain because I don't like failing. So the moment I think I fail, there's a fear line there and I've got to cross it again. And so this, by focusing and learning, retraining how to focus on the process, I think I'll get more longevity out of what I'm trying to do. And then in the process, there are my coaches, when I have my monthly goal meeting, okay, let's set you up for the month. What are the goals? What are you doing each week? I mean, it's totally 90-day game plan. It's wonderful. She's checking for reasonability. All right, Allie, based on your skill set, the time you can give, your mindset, where you're at with your family, are these goals actually reasonable?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to set me up for failure either.
Yes.
So it's both. It's setting the goal in mind, but then looking at your process to check for reasonability.
Yes.
And then as you're putting yourself out there and learning new things and trialing new things, it's not, did this fail or succeed? It's, what did you learn? What worked? What's not working? How can we tweak it for the next test? Test and tweak, test and tweak, test and tweak. That's really serving my brain right now as I'm stepping out and doing hard things.
Gotcha.
Having that framework away from failure.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's great. One thing that, and like I said, I think there's a time and place for both, right? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it just depends on the individual. I love asking the question though, just to get people's different perspectives, right? Right now, I would say I'm more on the process stage, right? Because of what I'm going through, right? Because of, okay, I need a kind of in the same sense of what you're taking right now is what I'm trying to learn on my own right now, right? And I'm working with a coach right now, but I'm working with a fitness coach. I got a different goal in mind right now for myself, for going into the new year and trying to heal old like army wounds and stuff like that, of injuries and stuff like that. So I'm working with a fitness coach right now, but that's where I eventually want to go to, is not necessarily, and it shifted my mindset, because it's not necessarily a weight loss goal or stuff like that. It is, but it's actually the process. And the reason why I chose this coach is because I told him, I don't want you to just tell me what to do, because I've been working out for the past 15, 20 years on my own. I know how to work out. My thing is, I wanted to learn how the food reacts with my body. I wanted to learn that process of it. So right now I'm in a very process mindset with him of, hey, eat this. How did that work for you? Did that bloat you at all? Did you like it? Was it taste good? Like, what did that do for your performance in the gym? Like, how did you feel during that workout? So we're discussing all this, and I'm like, oh, like this guy's breaking it down of, man, that really pumped me up. That fueled me up for the workout. And he's like, oh, this is because you have your macronutrient and your micronutrient. And like, so he's just going through the whole process. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm in a very process mindset right now with that goal. Right. So I just feel like it depends on where you go and what you're kind of working on right now, that mindset. I think it's important to understand what you're trying to get out of it for whatever goal you're chasing and stuff like that. But
I think for me,
think both of them have its place.
Yeah, you're right. And being process focused for me in this season is a sign of maturity, because I could go and burn myself out. Yeah. And then I'd be an awful mother and an awful wife, and I'd probably lose my business. Right? Because I know me. I could get it off the ground and then I couldn't run it. You know what I mean? Like I could get it to the next, and then I would just plateau out. Right? Yeah. No, that's I appreciate that, these frameworks that we're operating in, because it's seasonal. You can have everything you want, but you can't have it all at once.
Yes, exactly.
You can't.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the hard part. It's you got to identify it. And that's a majority of the thing I do. I always, especially in the program I teach, I try teaching people and try expressing to them, like, one thing that's a constant is change. Right. And for me, I have and I call it a 5-year vision, because that's continuously changing because of my life experience and stuff like that. I can have this 5-year goal, and tomorrow I walk out the door and I get hit by a car. Guess what?
Yep.
My 5-year vision just went to probably me walking again or something like that, right?
Right.
So I always go with like a 5-year vision. Then I got like a 3-year kind of alignment mentality of, well, if I want to get there in 3 years, where do I need to be? That's where I look at it in a sense of 3-year John from now needs to be here, right? And that's where I go in. Okay, well, what's the 1-year goal? What's the 1-year goal? And then those seasons are my milestones that lead up to that goal. So I'm planning my seasons right now to try getting to that 1-year goal that is aligned with what 3-year John looks like. And then the 5-year vision, I just have it as a vision because guess what? Next year is probably going to change.
Sure, but it reminds you that this is not who you're always going to be.
Yeah.
That in 5
definitely.
years, you're going to be somebody different. And who is it going to be? You get that chance to pour into that person that is going to be the John in 5 years, the Allie in 5 years. And the other beautiful thing about having that longer vision is it can inform how you act today. What would 5-year John do in this situation? What would 5-year Allie do in this situation? And maybe we can get 5-year you and me up to the 3-year mark by stepping in to those behaviors already.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, John,
That
this
makes
the
sense.
only reason that I invested in this program. This is a 5-figure program. We took out a loan to be able to afford it. Okay. Just to give you an idea. Because I'm not happy with my business results. And I wanted to be in the room with people who are already 7, 8, and 9 figures doing what I want to do. Yes. I want to be in the room because I know so strongly that you are that collective sum of the people that you're hanging out with. Right. And so I'm willing to invest. And you know what? When people invest their time and their money, they show up.
Yes.
They show up. You better believe I'm showing up because I paid a ton of money for this program. I'm going to squeeze every ounce of goodness I can out of it.
And it's so interesting you say that, Ellie, because I'm looking at a couple coaches for like marketing and stuff like that. That I just love learning the psychology behind it. Like that does wonders for my curiosity, but at the same time for my business, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, where do I go next? I have my website. I'm on social media. I'm sharing my insights and, doing interviews and stuff like that. Now, how do I keep scaling? And that's something that I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Right. And I don't know if you follow her. Her name is Cody Sanchez.
Oh yeah. She's the boring businesses girl, right? She's fantastic.
Yes. And I love one of her phrases where she says, steal other people's 10,000 hours or buy them. Like, you either find somebody that can mentor you, that has that experience and that expertise already, that can mentor you. If they can't mentor you or you can't find nobody, then hire somebody for that expertise. Because what is it going to take you? 10,000 hours to figure it out? And that's where, for me, though, I always like going in with a little bit of knowledge. So that's where I'm learning a little bit. So that way I'm not just that guy of like, oh, yeah, you're just saying words to me and I don't know what it means. But yeah, here's, 15 grand. Like, no, you want to learn a little.
Let's talk about an ads guy. You got to learn. You got to learn a little bit about ads yourself, because if not, you're just throwing money at somebody. And people, I cannot tell you, John, the amount of people in my personal circle who have been burned for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, because they didn't know what they were looking at. Right. So you're doing the right thing. You're soaking in everything you can. And then you're ready to invest, because then you know what program you want. You know your gaps.
Yes.
Right. And then you can be a more, what kind of a buyer? There's a word, I'm missing it. An informed purchaser.
Informed buyer.
When you, yes, when you go and you purchase something. Definitely. So you're doing the right thing, friend.
Yeah, it's the same concept, right? You ain't gonna go buy a car without test driving it and learning a little bit about the car, right? So I mean, I look at it in the same scenario. So, but Allie, I definitely held you over what I promised.
No, I loved it. I hope it was useful.
Yeah, conversation was great. Love talking to you. I'm pretty sure we can probably talk for another hour or so,
We probably
but
could.
maybe save that for another time. Definitely, I would love to interview you again, see how the program's going, right?
Yeah.
See if any new developments, how Mexico's going, right?
So
Enjoying it
far,
over
so
there.
good.
Yeah. So if anyway though, I wanted to ask if somebody wanted to get a hold of you and what you can provide or the services you can provide,
Mhm.
how can you help others and then how can they contact you?
Awesome. So I'm the founder of what's called the Essential Collective. And what we do is we support moms primarily in their health and wellness journeys, but also in parent, whatever a mom needs, because when a mom is awesome, the whole family thrives. And so we start first with energy, making sure a mom has enough energy to do everything she needs to do throughout the day. And then we go from there. And so I'm on all the social media, Facebook, and yep, that's me, and Instagram as well. And you can reach out and I can share a little bit more about my program with you. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome, Ali. Hey, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on here and just talk for a little while. It was definitely a pleasure. We definitely have to do this again. I had such
Absolutely.
a great time doing
Absolutely. I
it.
would love to.
Yeah, and I love hearing your perspective as well. And definitely from your experience too. So like I said, it was a pleasure. And please, guys, if anybody needs any help, please contact Allie, even to talk, just get a little
Yeah,
more perspective and stuff. As you can tell, we had some fun here. So
we did.
appreciate it, Allie.
Thank you, John.